So I know someone had a question about kind of leaving out some of the old players in the game. Incumbents. So are you guys invested in, or are there players from oil and gas and coal companies on your board that are trying to modernize, or if not, then do you think there's a place for them in your aggregation, in your community?
So the answer is yes. The question before, that group called the Oil and Gas Climate Initiative is 12 of the world's largest oil and gas companies that have come together and launched a fund to invest in clean technologies. And they are an investor in us. And that is, I fundamentally believe, like I said before, if you want to get significant emission reductions from the oil and gas industry, you have to do it inside the tent. You have to work with the operators. You can't just regulate from outside or shame them ceaselessly, which, by the way, Bloomberg does very well. But that's only part of the equation. There's an absolute role for activism. It has to happen, and it does have results. There's a role for diplomacy. The biggest reductions in emissions we've achieved so far were through 3 ambassadors working in a Central Asian country to reduce 1 leak that was the equivalent of taking 1 million cars off the road for a year. Right? That was 3 ambassadors. That's diplomacy. So there's a role for activism, a role for diplomacy, but there's also a role for regulation, and finally a role for industry. Industry themselves, at the end of the day, are being increasingly motivated through financial services, through their own target setting, their net zero commitments, to actually reduce their own emissions. And I fundamentally believe at the end of the day, the largest emissions are going to come from that last part. So if you want to play with that, you do need to have that in a balanced way in how you operate and how you expand your company. So we made the conscious decision early on. And by the way, we did very clearly set the ground rules early on about the influence that that particular industry can have on our board.
Well, thank you. Merci beaucoup to everyone. That is the limit of the French I'm going to use on this because Duolingo does not have a private tech lesson. But again, round of applause.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll do the French accent, don't worry. Thank you very much. My name is Guillaume Fouché, Commercial Head for Canada at BNEF. It's been a pleasure, Frederic, and the Quebec delegation. It's a fantastic partnership. So I'm your last stop before the cocktail offered by the Quebec delegation. I want to introduce Martine Hébert. She's the Delegate General of Quebec and for closing remarks. Thank you very much.